Hello and welcome to the Therapy by Craft YouTube channel. My name is Eunice. I am the maker behind Therapy by Craft, where I like to talk about yarny things, mostly knitting, mostly socks. But today I actually have a lot of non-sock items to share with you, as well as both knitting and crochet. So yes, that is very exciting. It has been about a month or so since the last time I recorded or shared anything with you guys in terms of like podcast. So we have quite a bit to go over. Today is March 16th. It's Sunday, March 16th. And it is my first episode that I'm recording in March. So not only do we have our March or my March projects, my March projects to share with you, but I also have February stats to go over with you since, it's my first episode in February. My first episode in March since finishing February. Before I do that though, you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Therapy by Craft. Anything that I talk about in terms of like shops or projects or whatever, you will find the details for that in the description box below the video. Yeah, let's go ahead and get started with February stats. So in the month of February, my total, and including my total finished projects, I'll also share my blankets that I've been working on. So in the month of February, I finished 4 sock projects, actually that's not true. I did 4 sock projects, 5 dishcloths, 3 of them which were knit, 2 of them which were crocheted. I actually finished 2 tapestry crochet projects, which is quite new for me, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. And then I worked on my blankets. I added 55 grams into my jelly roll blanket. I added 7 squares or 54 grams into my Coziest Memories blanket. And then I also started a Sweetshop blanket and I finished 11 squares for that, which totaled 107 grams. So my totals for socks, I don't think I went over, oh yeah. For the 4 socks that I finished, all of them were fingering weight. All of them were gifts. 2 of them were for adults. 2 of them were for kids. And that totaled 206 grams. For my 5 dishcloths that I finished, it took 146 grams. The total for my 2 tapestry projects were 92 grams. And my blanket totals was 216 grams, which equated to 660 grams used in the month of February. We will not speak of grams in. I don't know if you guys have noticed that small detail, but I will tell you how many grams I used, but I have not been sharing how many grams I'm bringing in to my yarn stash. I'm kind of doing that on purpose, mostly because I'm in denial and I want to avoid that particular number. Especially this month since I went and did a last Joann's haul. So yeah. Anyway, that's what I used in February. Those are my February stats. All right, let's go ahead and just jump right into my projects. So like I said, it's been about a month since the last time I spoke with you guys, and that was apparently enough time for me to lose my sock mojo. Yes, I did not want to knit socks. I don't know what happened, but for a couple of weeks there, I was just over it. Yeah, I just wanted to work on other things, like my blankets. That's really what took over. My blanket knitting took over. I was still knitting some socks, but I don't know. I think I know why, so I will talk about that. And then after that, I just wanted to knit and crochet all of the dishcloths. I think finding like an actual practical use for dishcloths that are not like for actually washing dishes because I don't use dishcloths to wash my dishes, but I have been finding other ways to use my dishcloths, and I've just like, ooh, like I just want to do dishcloths all the time. So I think those two things, the blankets, the dishcloths, and then the third reason that I will share it later. Those are the reasons that contributed to me just really losing my steam when it came to sock knitting. But then it picked back up again in the last couple of weeks. I actually finished a pair of socks for Samantha pretty much in less than 48 hours. the last yeah, within the last couple days. So that was fun. And I do feel a little bit more excitement about sock knitting again, but a lot of the finished objects that I have to share with you mostly have to do with like dishcloths and blankets. But we'll start with socks. I have 3 finished pairs of socks to share with you today. The first one is a gift sock. It's going to go to one of my dear friends, but they are a modified version of Weekend Shorty socks. Ta-da! This is a pattern, and I think it's a free pattern actually. It's a pattern by Summer Lee Design Co. And it is a basic, it's like a basic vanilla sock, except there's pops of color. So the thing that makes this really fun and unique are the ways that you can work colors into the sock rather than like a pattern design or something like that. So it's really fun for those beginner sock knitters, not the very, 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 very beginner, not like first time sock knitters, but maybe people who have knit socks a couple of times already and they're ready to do something really fun with their sock knitting, but they're not ready to necessarily go and do like a patterned sock. They're going to lose steam. So this would be a very good pair for that. I used some gifts. So these 6 colors are gifts that I received as an early birthday present from my friend Samantha, not my daughter Samantha, my friend Samantha, who's also a knitter. And she sent me some Filcolana Arwetta. I think that's how you say it. I have not used that yarn before. It was my first time using it, and it was so much fun. Like I said, I had been kind of like not really wanting to knit socks, but then I received that gift and it really sparked joy, and I was like, oh, I want to use this. The colors are so pretty, and this is what came to mind. Also because I received I don't know if you remember, but Hannah of Hannah G Knits sent over to me the Weekend Shorty sock pattern as an idea to do like a countdown to Valentine's. This was back in February. And I had completely forgotten about that pattern, but because she sent it over to me, I was like, oh, that's right. This is such a cute pattern. And yeah, anyway, so the colors that I used here are the Focolana Arvetta, like I said, and then for the main color, I just wanted to use a plain undyed colorway. This is Knit Picks Stroll in their undyed colorway. As you can see, these are fraternal socks, meaning they're not identical. I used the same 4 colors, but I reversed the order, or not reversed, I just kind of mixed up the order. I received 6 colors from Sam, so 4 of them were used for the cuff, and 2 of them was used for the toe. And I wanted to do something like extra fun, so I added kind of a pop of color just at the tips of the toe. Let's see, what else do I want to say about this? Oh, I knit all of my socks on Magic Loop. I use a ChowGoo US 1 or a 2.25 millimeter 32-inch red lace needle. That's a mouthful. But yeah, that's what I use. These are 64 stitch count socks, and I used a heel flap and gusset, which when I'm gifting socks, I find that that fits people the best. I started these on March 6th and finished them on March 11th. And this is pair number 13 for the year. And this Shorty pair took 49 grams total. All right, the next two pairs of socks are a matching pair. I have had Sam help me with picking what socks to wear in the mornings each morning. And it dawned on me recently that I have been wearing my hand knit socks every single day. Yeah, every day for the past, I don't know how many months. Has it been maybe a year? Even through the summer, I've been wearing my hand knit socks. So that dawned on me recently because at work I have to wear closed-toed shoes. So what I'll usually do is wear my hand knit socks and then I'll wear my Birks. And yeah, it recently dawned on me I've been wearing my hand knit socks every single day. It's really fun and exciting. Anyway, I digress. Sam has been helping me pick the socks I wear each day. Samantha also wears socks every day, even through the summer, because she too has to wear closed-toed shoes for daycare. And so she'll pick her socks in the morning and then she'll rummage through my sock drawer to see if I have any socks that are very close in color to the socks that she's wearing that day. And it's super cute. She's like, oh, we can be twins, like we can be sock twins. And we do have a couple of socks that are like pretty much from the same yarn. And so she will pick those for us to wear together sometimes if it's there, but there's not a lot. So I think this year I want to make more matching pairs for me and her. Again, I don't know how long this is going to last where she wants to wear socks that are matching with me or anything that's matching with me. But I'm going to capitalize on it. I'm going to take advantage where I can. So one of the socks that we have matching from last year is actually a pair of St. Patty's Day socks. This was from the Freckled Whimsy yarn club from last year. I think it was called Shamrock Your World or something. Is that right? Maybe it was like Lucky to, I don't know. It was a St. Patty's Day colorway. This year, I decided to use a self patterning yarn that I found at Buku, which is my local yarn store. Amanda is now carrying like German brand self patterning sock yarns, and I could not be happier. Like, oh, I'm so happy about it. Like, she has like the Zalbabal Crazy socks. She has what is this? Admiral R. Druck. I don't know how to say it, but it's a Chappelle. Am I even saying that right? I don't know, but it's a Chappelle yarn. Let me show you. That's what the label looks like. And this is what the yarn looks like. This is my pair, and I'll tell you a little bit more about this in a second. And this is Sam's pair. Ah, and they're so cute. I love them. I think it's so pretty. Okay, so let's talk about mine first. I started these February 21st and finished them March 13th. This is 64 stitches. I did 20 rounds of 2x2, 60 rounds for the leg, a heel flap and turn for the heel, and then the gusset plus the rest of the foot in total is 70 rounds. So I count my feet, like the rounds for my feet, starting at the gusset pickup. And then that was 70 rounds, and that's for a US women's size 7. What was really fun about these socks is that I could not find the pattern repeat. Like, where is it? Does it even exist? Yes, it does exist, and I did find it, but oh my gosh, it just went on and on and on, and I was like, What is happening? Where's the pattern repeat? But I found it, and it is, where is it? Is it like right here? Is this it? Oh, yes, it's this right here. Except what happened was, so these two colors are the same, and then this is the same here. But right when it seems like it's gonna like follow that pattern, I started the heel flap, right? So then it kind of breaks that up, and then it starts up again. Oh, where is it? Oh yeah, it starts up again here, where you can see that. But then I start doing the gusset here, so then it kind of breaks up that pattern. So the pattern does exist. It was just broken up in such a way that it was really difficult to find it. But what is really fun about this pattern repeat is that in one sock, it doesn't repeat at all. So from here to here, there is no repeat in the pattern, which is crazy. That's like an insanely long pattern repeat. But it made for such fun socks and such fun such a fun knitting experience, because it was like, ooh, what's gonna happen next? Ooh, that's different. Ooh, you know, what's the next color? And what's the next color after that? Blah blah blah. This pair took about 64 grams of yarn, and I was hoping that it would be enough. So 64 grams, I don't know, what's 100 minus 64? It's like 36 grams, right? Okay, so I did the math and I thought, okay, Sam's socks lately have been taking about 35 grams, 35 to 36 grams. So that'll be perfect. I will have enough yarn to make Sam's pair without having to use a contrast color. Turns out I was wrong. But the reason I was wrong is because the ball did not come with 100 grams of yarn. It came with like 98, 97 grams of yarn. So I was shy, like 2 to 3 grams. No, like 3 to 4 grams. Is that right? Yeah, maybe 4 grams. I was shy. Oh, that must mean, okay, that must mean that it was like closer to 95, 96 grams. Um, but yeah, I was not able to get a full pair of socks for Sam without using a contrast color, which was a bummer. But I was eyeballing it, and I could kind of tell by the time I got to the heel for both of the socks that, yeah, I'm gonna need a contrast color. There's not gonna be enough. When I weighed the balls of yarn that I was using for Sam's socks or for our socks after I finished mine, that's when I realized, like, oh, the balls don't total up to 36 grams. It totals to like 30 grams. So yeah, I pulled out this color, which is a West Yorkshire Spinners 4-ply color. I don't, oh, can you see that? I don't know what color this is. I use it a lot, but I guess I haven't written it down enough. Is it mustard? I don't know, but it's a yellow. And it matched pretty well with the color theme of this colorway. So I used that for the heels. And fun fact, for Sam's socks, I do a 56 stitch count. It is kind of loose, but I think she prefers it that way, and then she can grow into it. She gets most frustrated by her socks that are too tight, and there are several socks that are too tight, and she's growing pretty fast. Like, she grew an inch in like 4 or 5 months. She's been complaining a lot of growing pains, and so yeah, like, homegirl is growing. She's getting bigger. And so I'd rather have her socks be a little bit loose right now, and then she can grow into them. Anyways, there's 56 stitches. That's the stitch count I use for Sam's socks. I do 10 rounds for the cuff of 2x2, 30 rounds for the leg. For her socks, I also do a heel flap and gusset. I find that the extra inch and a half or so that is therefore from the heel flap gives even more room for her to grow into the socks. And then from the gusset pickup to the foot, like the end of the foot, is 50 rounds. That's what I'm doing right now for her. She wears a US toddler 10. Yeah. And then just like a standard rounded toe. And what I found, because I was like measuring and weighing how much yarn I need for this and that, is that it takes about 2 grams for me to do a heel for her 56 stitch count socks. It also takes about a gram and a half, so 1.5 grams for me to finish the toe for her socks. So I wrote those numbers down in case later I run into similar problems. Yeah. And then after my socks were done, after Sam's socks were done, this is all I had left. This is it. That is all of the yarn that I had remaining after making my socks and Sam's socks. What is that? 0.83 grams. Not even a gram of yarn. 0.83 grams of yarn remaining. And honestly, that felt kind of good. I'm sad that I don't have enough to put into any of my scrappy blankets, but I'm also fine with that. Oh yeah, I was supposed to show you my blankets. Whoops. I'll show you guys in the whips section. Okay, so Sam's socks I started on March 14th, which is the day after. It was like the morning after I finished my pair. And that was Friday. And then I finished it on Saturday, which was yesterday. It took me less than 48 hours for me to finish these socks. I think it took me like 36 hours. Now, granted, I was like hustling. I was posting it on Instagram. Like each time I finished a section, I posted on Instagram what I was doing and what I finished. And I started this pair around 9 o'clock on Friday, 9 a.m. on Friday. And I only got like the cuff and the legs done. And then the rest of the socks I worked on Saturday and got them done by I think like 6:15 p.m. the next day. So yeah, my hands were kind of cramping afterwards, not gonna lie. And I had all these other things happen throughout the day, right? I mean, like I have to feed my daughter lunch and dinner and myself also. But yeah. That is pair number 14 and 15 for 2025. And that's it. Those are my finished pairs of socks. Now, let's talk about like a whole other category of things. I kind of went on like a dishcloth kick. Do you see this pile? This isn't even all of them. This is just some of them. These are the ones I finished in February. And then these are the ones I finished in March so far. And I'm still working on some because I'm a little bit obsessed. But let me tell you kind of the story of what happened. So the first thing to happen is that I realized I like using my dishcloths, my knitted dishcloths to wipe things down. And initially, I didn't love using my 100% cotton dishcloths for anything really because I felt like they didn't absorb water very well. But after putting them through the washer and the dryer, they absorb water great. And someone was telling me this. I forgot who it was. But someone was saying to me, it's always like that with dishcloths. Even like 100% cotton dishcloths that you buy from the store, you kind of have to run them through the wash and dryer first a couple of times before they really start to soften up and they really start to, kind of like function like dishcloths or like countertop wipes or whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a really good point. So I put all of the dishcloths that I had made from years past into the washer, into the dryer, and then compared, and oh, so much better. so much better. I also have houseplants, and I've used to, long time ago, I had purchased like little cork, I don't know, coasters or whatever, so that if there's any moisture from the houseplants, they would, not ruin any of my wooden furniture. But now that I have these, I was kind of using them to put under my houseplants and stuff like that. So that's the first thing that happened with the dishcloths. The second thing to have happened is that Joann's declared that they're going out of business, and I was so saddened by that. I haven't been buying from Joann's, not really, but when I first started knitting and crocheting, I purchased from Joann's all the time. Like, they have really great coupons that compete with Michael's, and compared to the yarn selection at Michael's, I felt like Joann's had better quality yarn, and so I found myself going to Joann's a lot to buy yarn. Gosh, a long time ago, I used to even sell my knitted and crocheted items through Therapy by Craft. And, when I had to buy a bunch of yarn in bulk, like, that's where I went. And so I just have this soft spot, I guess, for that store. So I wanted to visit it at least a couple more times, or at least like the stores that are nearby my house. I wanted to visit those and see what I could get, and they had a bunch of cotton yarns still left over. And since I, had resparked my love for dishcloths, I thought, oh, okay, I'm gonna go and just get a bunch of cotton yarn. And they had like lots of the sugar and cream cones left. So I grabbed like a lot of these. They're not the softest yarns ever, but they are hardy and they work up well. It's a worsted weight, 100% cotton. It's perfect for dishcloths. So I grabbed a bunch of those. That was the second thing to have happened. And then the third thing to have happened is that I caught a blanket bug. It caught me again. Every so often, I just have, I don't know, like the urge to just sit and work on my blankets, my modular garter stitch blankets. My friend Sam, the same one who sent me the Focalana Arwetta, she sent me a picture of the Sweetshop blanket that she was working on with the Yarny Scrap Advent that I sent her for Christmas last year. And it was so beautiful. Like, it's so pretty. It is so pretty. And it made me want to do the Sweetshop blanket again. I purchased the Sweetshop blanket pattern by Laura Penrose. I purchased it when it was first released several years ago, but I took one look at the pattern and I got overwhelmed. I guess I assumed it would be like the Jelly Roll, or I don't know, like the Coziest Memories blanket, where you basically just have like one set of instructions, like you just do the same thing over and over and over again. Unfortunately, for the Sweetshop blanket, it is kind of like that, but depending on what square you're working on in the blanket, there are different instructions. And I made the mistake of looking through all of the instructions in one sitting, and I got really overwhelmed. I think I don't know, I think I process things visually. Like, I need the information to be visually palatable, and if I can't digest it, like, it just really overwhelms me. My brain just kind of like goes on the fence, so I put it away. But when I talked to my friend Sam about her Sweetshop blanket, she said that, it's actually not that bad, and if you sit and you just do one square at a time, it's not that bad at all. So I took the opportunity to practice the Sweetshop blanket on dishcloths. So that's how this dishcloth was born. This is actually just the first square, the starting foundation square that you need to make for the Sweetshop blanket. And I think it actually does it like this. I don't know. Which one's the, oh yeah, I think maybe this is the bottom. I don't know. It doesn't matter. And once I did this, I thought, oh, okay, yeah, that wasn't so bad. I did do a crocheted border. I did single crochets all the way around just because I thought that was really cute. So yeah, I used a Queensland cotton, coastal cotton yarn. I don't have a ball band or anything with me, but that's what I used for this. And after I did this, I thought, okay, maybe I can practice doing all 4 types of squares that are in the Sweetshop blanket. And that's how this coaster or, dishcloth was born. I used a US 7 needle, which is a 4.5 millimeter needle, I think, for both of these. And this is all like 100% worsted cotton yarn. And I think I started with this one, and then I just worked all 4 types of squares. Then I did a single crochet border, and I felt really confident about doing a whole blanket after doing this dishcloth. I also thought and flirted with the idea of maybe doing more dishcloths in this manner, but I completely changed my mind after completing this. I was like, no, if I do it, it probably will look like this, but I don't want to do this. I mean, it's fine, but it takes like such little scraps. I ended up with a lot of ends and it just wasn't worth it. I just wanted to do this. Now, I have knit dishcloths before in the past, and most of the ones that I have made are kind of like the granny's favorite, where you start in one corner, kind of like this actually. You start in one corner and then you do increases, and you get to the, I guess, what is that? The diagonal, like the widest point of the diagonal. I want to say like the Pythagorean, but that's the theory. What is it called though? What is this called? I don't know, but whatever this is, like you get to a certain number for this, and then you do decreases to work to the other corner. Now, I have most of the dishcloths patterns that I've seen, and most of the dishcloths that I have made kind of do that. But I like the end result, but I don't like counting. I don't know if you guys have ever found that, but I I'm pretty good at math. I'd like to think. I'm average at math. But there's nothing like crochet and knitting to remind me that I actually don't know how to count. Like, I don't know how to count. So I don't want to. Like, if I'm doing a mindless project, I don't really want to count all that much, or at least like every row. I found that each time I was doing increases, I'd have to stop and like count to like 45 or whatever. And I didn't want to do that. And I was also working on my cozy memory blanket, my coziest memory blanket at the time. And I thought, why don't I just do a mitered square instead? So that's what I did. That was the next thing that I made. And that worked out pretty great. The size is not that big. I think I cast on 60 stitches for this dishcloth. And I did 30 by 30. I hoped that that would be enough, but it actually ended up kind of small. But I did like that I didn't have to count. So that was great. Making this went by a lot faster because I didn't have to stop at this like diagonal part to count how many stitches I had on my needles. I made this exactly the same way that I do my Coziest Memories blanket. And I finished it by doing single crochets all the way around. I just think that makes for a good finishing for a dishcloth. So after doing this, I thought, okay, maybe this is my preferred way of knitting dishcloths. Maybe that's just what I do. There were a couple of things I didn't like. For example, the way that I do my mitered squares, because it's an even number of stitches, there's no like middle stitch on this corner. So I don't know if you can tell, but this is a bit rounded. I mean, it's a nice corner. This is a nice corner here. This is a nice corner here. And this is like rounded because there's no like one point, you know? I guess I could do like a loop or something, but yeah, it's like rounded and I didn't really love that. So I picked up my sugar and cream that I had gotten from Joann's to try and do a different kind of mitered square where it's an odd number and there is a slipped stitch for the middle stitch so that it's a little bit more defined. But in the process of doing that, I realized I hate knitting the sugar and cream. It is so painful for my hands. I was using, it's still worsted weight. I was still using US7s, but it was so painful to knit with this cotton. With the Queensland cotton yarn, not a problem. Even, oh, this is actually not Queensland cotton. This is the Knit Picks Dishy. That cotton yarn was great. And this did not hurt my hands to knit with. But the sugar, the Lily Sugar and Cream, yeah, this was really hurting my hands. So I switched it up and I said to myself, I can't knit with this. It's gonna ruin my hands. So I'm gonna have to crochet. Now with crochet, there's a lot of dishcloth patterns out there for crochet, but I was, I don't know, I was trying to find one that I could do mindlessly, that I really liked the look of, that I can use to gift. And one of the ones that I found, I think it was like someone put like my favorite dishcloth or like the easiest dishcloth or something. I can't remember off the top of my head. But it's basically single crochets and double crochets that you kind of alternate. And it looks like this. And I liked it. I was kind of pleased with it, except it's really hard to count your rows. I couldn't figure out how many rows I had done. So I had to like take out my tape measure and like measure how many inches, and that really bothered me. And I thought, okay, maybe it's because of the yarn or something. Maybe I try it with a different yarn. This is not any better than this because both of them are like confetti. But yeah, I still didn't love everything about this. I made 3 anyway because I thought, oh, maybe I could get used to it. It also went by really quickly. I was using a 5mm clover hook. It's an H hook. And I made 3 of them, hoping that, you know, maybe I'll just get used to it and it'll be fine. But the other thing that I didn't like about it is that because I couldn't count the rows, not only did I not know how many rows I had, but I couldn't like distribute the single crochets very well on the sides. And it resulted with these like holes that I just don't love. So I scrapped that and I went back to the drawing board and tried to look for other dishcloth patterns that are crocheted that would be just kind of easier. The other thing too is that it's very stiff. It ends up with a fabric that's quite dense. I threw it in the washer and dryer because that's how I'm going to prep my gift dishcloths when I send them out. And yeah, I did that and it shrunk the cotton a little bit and it just, I don't know. I wasn't fully in love with the finished result. Now, these 3 I'm just going to keep for myself. I have been using them to clean my house. I actually used them recently to clean the mirrors of my house, and it actually worked really well. There was some streaks that were left behind, but not really. It was very close to the kind of cleanliness or like transparency or whatever. It's not transparent, it's a mirror, but the kind of cleanliness that I could get with my paper towels. So that was really exciting because now I can use this to like clean my bathroom. The pink one is what I was using to clean my bathrooms, and it's a lot prettier to have like in the restroom to like clean my counters and stuff than the other like towels that I was using. But anyway, so these are the three that I like tested with it, and I went back to the drawing board. I looked up other dishcloth things. I think I looked up like Lily Sugar and Cream, or yeah, Lily Sugar and Cream on Instagram. I used the hashtag to see what other people were doing with it. I even thought like, oh, maybe I can make a blanket, but that was tripping me out too. And then I came across, gosh, whose post is this? I can't remember, but I came across someone who made linen stitch dishcloths with their like Lily Sugar and Cream. Oh, it's so much better. It's so pretty. Ta-da! I love how I love the stitch. I totally forgot about the stitch, but it's so it's so good. These are ones that I have already finished. I've washed them, put them through the washer and dryer. I just think it makes for the cutest little stack of dishcloths. You can use them for the bathroom, you can use it in the kitchen. It's so cute. I chained 10 chains to make little loops at the top. And also what's great about it is that it leaves a pretty clean edge. So I don't have to worry about picking up or doing like single crochets along the sides because it's a pretty even edge right there. So this is it. This is what I'm doing. These are the dishcloths that I'm making, and I'm going to make them as gifts. We have an event coming up at work, and I think in April is like Admin Appreciation Day is coming up in April, and we have like a handful of admin staff at my work who are really great, and they work so hard, and yeah, I just want to show them some appreciation. So my plan is to make them like a stack of dishcloths, like each of them a stack of dishcloths to gift to them to say thank you. I wanted to do that last year, but I forgot until like last minute. And there was just no way I was going to make, there's just no way that I was going to be able to do it in time. So I didn't. But this year I have plenty of time. So I am planning on doing that. Whew. I also made one additional modification. So I'll tell you what my numbers are. I chain 36 stitches, I chain 36, and then I put my single crochet into the fourth chain from the hook. So that ends up with about like 32 working stitches to do the linen stitch. And what I have found is that because I'm doing a beginning chain and working into a chain, that very first like chain row or whatever, the chain has these holes because I don't know, the fabric has like these holes at the bottom, and I don't love that. So I recently made a modification, and I single crocheted into the chain that I skip over for that first row when I do the linen stitch, and it kind of pulled up that part so that there is no more hole. So this is the one that has the hole right here, and then this one I kind of tightened it up by working into the chain that I skipped from that starting chain. I hope that makes sense. If you have done linen stitch before, or if you start working on this, you'll know what I'm talking about. So as I said, I chained 36. to start, I have 32 working stitches, and then I do 34 rows before making my little single crochet. I mean, making my 10 chain loop at the top. Each square is about 8 inches by 8 inches. I think this is called Salt and Pepper by Lily Sugar and Cream. This is Potpourri by Lily Sugar and Cream. And this one is actually not Lily Sugar and Cream. This is a Joann's brand. I think I have one here. It's Big Twist Favorite Cotton in the Confetti Cake colorway. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So like I said, I have quite a bit of Lily Sugar and Cream. And so my plan is to start like pairing, like doing some color pairs. Maybe where I do like a third in the solid color, and then I put in the more speckly color, and that way I will have a set that is not all identical dishcloths. I think it's nice to have like coordinating, but not like so matchy-matchy. Oh my gosh, we're almost at like 47 minutes, and I've talked your ear off about dishcloths. Who would have thunk, hey? Like who? I never thought I would be this verbose about dishcloths. My goodness. But here we are. So yeah, each one takes about 38 grams of yarn. And I have plenty to keep me occupied for a while. And weirdly, I'm very much enjoying making these dishcloths. Each one doesn't take that long to make, maybe 30 minutes, 30, 40 minutes. Not long at all. There's only 2 ends to weave in. It's perfect. It's mindless. It's great. And it is a quick shot of dopamine each time I finish one of these. And it like motivates me to do another one and another one and another one. So yeah, here we are. Okay. Oh, those are my finished objects. We've just done finished objects. I haven't even gone into whips yet. Although dishcloths are a part of my whips at the moment. I am making a bunch of those. But there's another thing that I want to share. Maybe I just will do my blankets, and then that'll be the end because this episode is already really, really long. So there is one project that I'm going to frog though, and that was the third reason why I had lost my sock mojo. So earlier I said that there were 3 reasons why I lost my sock mojo. This was one of them. The blankets is another, which is what I'm going to show you. But I'm going to frog. Do you guys remember my watercolor socks that I was going to be making for my brother? Well, his birthday came and went, and the socks are not done. I was going to stripe these 2 colors together. There we go. In opposite directions. And I was just hoping to the sock gods and praying that it will look okay. And in the beginning it did. Look. I have it. In the beginning it looked pretty good. And then it didn't anymore. It got muddled. Ugh. This is what it was looking like. And I lost steam because I don't like that. I was trying to convince myself that it was fine, but I was not loving it. And my hands knew I wasn't loving it because I wasn't reaching for it. So I'm going to rip it out. It just kind of sat in timeout for a long time. I like the yarn. I like the color. It feels nice, but I think I'm going to do what I've done before and just use a solid color to do the 5 stripes, or like to stripe it in instead of whatever this is. What is this? Oh yeah, like where I use both of the yarns in opposite directions, because inevitably they're going to blend at some point, and they did, and I hate it. I don't like it at all. ugh, I don't like it. So I'm going to rip it out and try again with something else. I don't know what I'm going to use, but that really slowed me down. The other thing is I was making my Seismic Yarns faded socks, right? And I was doing it one at a time. It looked like this. This is literally where I was the last time I showed it to you guys. And I have not touched it since. The reason I haven't touched it since, because I want to cast on the second sock. It is becoming more and more evident to me that I don't like knitting socks one at a time. I want to knit them two at a time. I keep thinking in my head like, oh no, I need to start the cuff for the other one. I need to start the cuff for the other one. And so I am still debating whether or not I'm going to continue with the fade, or if I just want to do something else entirely with this yarn. It is a great yarn. It is on her butter base, and it really does feel like butter. It is very appropriately named. Maybe I will do the fade still. Maybe it'll be fine. But I do think I need to cast on the second sock before I go any further, because yeah, I want to do the second sock. So those three things really stopped my sock mojo. And now that it's starting to pick back up again, I think once I frog this, once I cast on the second sock for my Seismic Yarns socks, faded socks, and once I cast on this bad boy, look how gorgeous she is. This, I did, if you can't tell, join Yarnable. I got the Yarnable subscription when it was open recently. What are you doing? Aha, there we go. And I was able to get the March 2025 colorway. It is called Wings of Renewal. So epic. And this is going to be perfect for a pair of socks that I want to gift someone in April. So this is going to be cast on very soon. I will be doing it two at a time, and I think that will help. Whew, okay. Blankets, and then I'll let you go. Or actually, you can leave whenever you want. I don't know why I said that. But blankets, and then we'll be done, okay? All right. So, like I said, I worked on this dishcloth as a practice run for a Sweetshop blanket. I have in my yarn stash a bunch of yarn that I had purchased, like sweater quantities of yarn that I had purchased back when I was knitting garments. And now that I'm not really knitting garments anymore, I've been trying to figure out what I want to do with these yarns, because they're gorgeous, they're beautiful, I own them. I don't necessarily want to give them away. What I want to do is make blankets out of them. And so Goodwill is one of them. It is a 100%, I think it's some kind of yarn. I mean, it's some kind of wool, 100% non-superwash wool, sport weight, but it can go anywhere from like sport to even worsted, I think, because it's so lofty. And I have a bunch of Goodwill in my stash that I wanted to use. I had like one skein of a couple of colorways, and then like maybe 3 to 4 skeins of another colorway. And let me show you. So this is the Goodwill. Oh, it's so nice. It's so pretty. This is Walking Stick. It's getting a little bit blown out. It's a little darker. Yeah, maybe this is the color. This is a good one. This is Olive Oil. It's a heathered green colorway, and there's like some yellow in here. It's such a nice color. I had the most of these too. But then I also had this color and this color. I don't remember what the names are of this, but I had like 2 skeins of this and 2 skeins of this, I think. One of each. Not very much. So I actually planned out this blanket. I'm doing the Sweetshop blanket. I actually planned it out, and the main color is going to be this, which is walking stick. And let me show you where I'm at. I might have to stand up to show this. Oh, I'm in the middle of a square. But ta-da! Here is my Sweetshop blanket. Isn't it pretty? I really love this color. It's it's so nice and it's so beautiful, and I think it's going to make such a nice warm light blanket for the fall or those like cooler summer California nights. Ugh, it's going to be great. Yay! My square or my blanket, the plan is to make it 7 by 9. Yeah. And it's going to be in this pattern where like the colors are going to be going diagonally. So the yellow is going to go down this way. The greens are going to be every other because I have more of the green yarn. And then the pinks are going to be going diagonally also. So I know that the construction of this, a lot of folks start from like a corner here and then they do it like in squares at a time and they move out from corner to corner almost. But I realized like you don't have to do it like that actually. Or did you know you don't have to do it like that? I just did the entire bottom first because they all are made up of the same kind of square. And now that my bottom is done, I don't have to do this kind of square anymore. Now I have to just do, it's basically the same kind of, I think it's like the top square or something. And that's all I have to do now for the remainder of this. And once I finish this row, then I join with a special kind of square here. And then, yeah, I'm just going to do it row by row by row. And it's going to be beautiful and wonderful. And I love it. The needles that I'm using is ChowGoo US 6 or 4mm needle. And I'm using a circular needle. It's just easier that way. I don't have one that's like, I don't know, I don't have like straights that are comfortable to work with for this blanket. I'm keeping this project in a twice sheared sheep bag. It's fitting in here right now. I don't know how long it's gonna be able to fit in here for, but so far it's been working out. It's a really cute bag. I bought it at Buku. I didn't know that twice sheared sheep sold project bags. And so when I saw it, Amanda had a pop up at Buku after the Fiber Festival, and I was blown away. It's like kind of a faux leather at the bottom, and it has a zipper at the top with a handle and a pocket on the side, on the outside. A zippered pouch. Is that what it's called? A zippered pocket. And it's great. I love it. I have 2 of them. The other one is housing my jelly roll blanket that I'm not going to show today, but it's beautiful. Okay, the other blanket that I will show you because I am working on it is my Coziest memory blanket. It is getting so big. Oh my gosh. It's so big. Here, let me do it this way. That's the bottom. It's getting really big. It is. I'm 5'2.5", 5'3", and it is touching the ground right now, and it's like covering my mouth. It's so cozy and squishy and warm. And it's definitely at the point right now where I can sit down and this will keep me warm as I'm working on it. It is lovely. I love it. It's so beautiful. And I'm continuing to mark how many squares I get done in a month by putting a little stitch marker on it when I finish that. And then when at the end of the month, I have been taking out those stitch markers and counting how many stitch markers I have, and that's how I know which squares belong to which month. Okay. Oh, all right. Last blanket. It's another scrappy blanket that I am flirting with in my head. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, but you guys let me know. So, like I said, I bought a lot of Lily Sugar and Cream. Like I have a box full here. And this is not even all of them. I have more in a bag. Over on that side. You see? There's like cones in here. There's cones worth of yarn in here. But I was thinking maybe I can make a blanket. Have any of you guys made a worsted weight 100% cotton blanket before out of Lily Sugar and Cream? Or like a yarn like Lily Sugar and Cream? I think that it would be really fun to do it. When I have large quantities of yarn, the first thing that comes to mind for me is a blanket, because why not? There are people who are having babies. There are people who just like blanket. Like, who doesn't like a blanket, you know? I can give them away as like a birthday gift. I don't know. Maybe I'm sure it'll come in handy. And I bought colors that I think are really cute. Ooh, fanciness. Good job. Look, right? These are cones with colors that I think go really well together. So I kind of want to make a blanket with these colors. I also have yellow, which I will show you too, but I don't have a cone. After doing this, I know that Tony Lipsy of TL Yarn Crafts made a temperature blanket with the linen stitch, and she did it in the round. And so I followed her tutorial and made a linen stitch square. This is 20 rounds of the linen stitch. And I thought maybe I could just make a bunch of these linen stitch squares and then seam them together into a large blanket, and that would be great. I think, is it Purple Circle Yarn Co? She did that too recently with her opal scraps. And that is such a beautiful blanket as well. And I like the idea of having like large blocks of color, like solid blocks of color though. Like I have my granny square blanket here, which is like a mix of a bunch of scraps. Oh, here it is. And I love that also, but I don't know. I kind of am feeling like a solid square. And I tried the granny square, but I did not like it. It was very holey. It was harder on my hands for some reason. But the linen stitch has been great. So I'm thinking about maybe doing a linen stitch blanket. Now, the one thing that's holding me back is that there is like a seam right here. You can kind of tell where I am like moving on to the next row, or the next round rather. And it kind of, I don't know, is it noticeable? Yeah, you can totally see it right there. So that's the one thing that's kind of holding me back from jumping in full force. I think when Tony does it, there is like she's changing colors each round, so it's not as noticeable. But this one you can definitely see it. I don't know how much it bothers me though. I think, like, do I like it more than it bothers me? Yeah, it actually doesn't look that bad on camera, so maybe it'll be fine. I don't know. Anyway, next time I record. Maybe you guys will have, I will have decided by then what I'm going to do. But yeah, there is actually more. If you can believe it, there are more things that I wanted to talk to you about, but I'm going to save it because it's over an hour already, and yeah, I don't want to keep going. I think I've spent like 40 minutes talking about dishcloths, so yeah, we can stop here. But all that to say, I hope you guys are doing well. Happy March, everyone! Like halfway through the month. I hope all of you are doing well, and if you're not, I hope you will be soon. Thank you to everyone who continues to show up here. I appreciate you so much. And if you enjoy hanging out with me, make sure that you subscribe, hit the like button, hit the little bell to get notified, because clearly I don't have like a set schedule. I do my best, but it doesn't always happen. Yeah, and I will talk to you guys next time. Have a good one, guys. Bye.